through the Deadlands where the air burns your lungs. Rusted gears, grind meat, fungal bloom on tongues. Skin peels with every mile, blood clots round your eyes. This dark country chews your soul, feeds on muted cries. Flames lick the marrow bare, shadows gorge on fear. Step inside this festering pit, ain't no leaving here. Strap your mask, it won't save you from the reek. Guns jam with rot, your screams grow weak. From mariners' bogs to tech-port splintered piers, the Deadlands flay you strip by strip, bathe in outlaw tears. Embers choke on blood and grime, the ramble's yours to roam. Die slow in this steaming grave, welcome home. Like in sun up, I'll show you around.
Greetings YouTube, and welcome back to the next chapters of Deadlands Between Cities. Like, sub, bell, all that good stuff. Right. Let's jump in. Chapter 6, City of Vice. Rain took Kane to his bunker, making him wait outside. Soon Dunmere's wood gates loomed like the jaws of a beast. Medieval stone ramparts fused with steel plating and crowned by hissing steam vents. Rain fired up his steam cycle for the last leg, the brass pipes growling as he tore across the dusty stretch, Kane clinging to the sidecar with a white-knuckled grip. The steam cycle's noise drew stares from a ragtag caravan ahead, but no runners stirred, too close to the city's turrets, their barrels glinting in the dusk. The guards waved them through with bored grunts, and the cycle's rumble faded as Rain cut the engine just inside the walls. Dunmere sprawled before them, a fever dream of clashing eras. Gothic keeps towered over Art Deco theatres, their facades lit by flickering gas lamps and neon signs buzzing with static. Steam pipes snaked through the streets, venting clouds that mingled with the stink of sweat, coal and cheap liquor. Dunmere was a liberal democracy on paper, council-run, free trade, liberty, but the black market ran the show. Hawkers peddled everything from forged rifles to fungal-resistant grain, their voices a constant drone. A brothel sign glowed ahead. Velvet Thorn, its red light promising oblivion for a fistful of bullets. Rain yanked off his goggles, stashing them in his belt as he swung off the cycle. "Welcome to paradise," he said, voice dry. "Don't touch anything you can't afford to lose." Kane climbed out, stretching his stiff legs with a grimace. "Smells like piss, ball sweat and bad decisions. This your idea of a good time? Better than bleeding out in a nest," Rain shot back, securing the cycle behind a rusted stall. "Need ammo, food, and a bed. You're on lookout. Try not to start a war this time." Kane muttered something foul, but followed as Rain cut through the crowd. The streets teemed with life. Labourers in patched coats, merchants in gaudy vests, a dancer twirling for bullets under a steam-powered street lamp. Buildings leaned together, their medieval bones wrapped in industrial scars, iron shutters, riveted beams, and fungal-proof sealant smeared over cracked stone. A tavern's door swung open, spilling laughter and the clink of mugs, and Rain's mind drifted. Coffee, whiskey, a book. He shook it off. Business first. They hit a supply depot near the market square, a squat bunker of steel and brick run by a wiry Russian named Dmitry Volkov. His moustache twitched as he sized them up, a monocle whirring over one eye. "Dust Wolf," he greeted, accent thick. "Thought you'd be dead by now. Who's the stray?" "Kane," Rain said, ignoring the younger man's glare. "Need 4 eyes and rifle mags, 2 Kurt 45 clips, 3 ration tins, 2 water canteens. Got a job lined up, Magnus's dime." Dmitry chuckled, rummaging behind the counter. "That specialized thing? Heard it's tearing up caravans. 3 rifle mags, 2 pistol clip, 2 tins, and the water. Best I can do. 40 bullets up front." Rain haggled him down to 35, sliding the payment across as Dmitry tossed the goods into a sack. "Word's out," the Russian added, leaning in. "Caravan hiring muscle tonight. Leaving for Valmontane at dawn. Runners hit their last run hard. Might be your monster's trail. Rain nodded, tucking the sack under his arm. Worth a look. Thanks, Volkov. They stepped out, Cain cracking open a tin and wolfing it down as they headed for a boarding house, a creaking pile of stone and iron with a sign reading Crow's Rest. Rain booked a room with 2 cots, tossing Cain a key. Stay put. I'm grabbing a drink and a distraction. Don't burn the place down. Cain flopped onto a cot, shotgun across his lap. Fine. Don't catch something you can't cure. Rain smirked, heading for the Velvet Thorn. The brothel's interior was dim, all velvet curtains and brass fixtures, the air heavy with perfume and smoke. A woman in a corset, Lotta, a regular, sidled up, her German accent purring as she dragged him to a corner table. He sank into the chair, whiskey in hand, her fingers tracing his pauldron as he let the day's tension bleed out. Lotta wasn't love, just a warm body and a sharp tongue. His kind of company. 2 drinks in, he was debating her offer of a room when shouts erupted outside. He shoved through the door, Lotta cursing behind him, and found Cain pinned against a wall by a cartel thug, big, scarred, with a pistol jammed under Cain's chin. A second goon held his shotgun, smirking. Rain groaned. What now? He bumped me, then swung, the thug snarled, English clipped with a French twist. Jean-Paul, a mid-tier enforcer for the Leclerc family. Little shit's got a death wish. Cain's eyes blazed, blood trickling from his lip. He stepped on my foot and laughed. Should have gutted him. Rain stepped forward, voice cold. Let him go, Jean-Paul. He's mine. You want trouble? Take it up with me. Jean-Paul hesitated, then shoved Cain free, spitting on the ground. Keep your dog chained, Wolf. Next time he's meat. The goon swaggered off, tossing Cain's shotgun into the mud. Rain hauled Cain up by the collar, voice low and furious. What did I say about starting wars? You're a walking disaster. Cain yanked free, grabbing his gun. Not my fault he's a prick. You'd have done the same. Doubt it, Rain said. Okay, maybe, Rain thought, turning back to the brothel. Clean up. We're on that caravan job at dawn. Screw this up and you're on your own. Cain wiped his mouth, muttering, but followed. The night settled over Dunmere, its vice-stained streets humming with life. Out in the Deadlands, a runner's howl answered. Chapter 7. Caravan Carnage. The caravan rolled out of Dunmere at dawn, a rattling convoy of passenger steam wagons and armoured carts creaking under the weight of trade goods, grain sacks, weapon crates, and lumber bound for Valmontane. Rain rode shotgun on the lead wagon, his rifle resting across his lap, goggles fogged by the morning haze. Cain slouched beside him, axe propped against his knee, still nursing a bruised ego from the brothel brawl. The driver, a grizzled man with an English accent named Edgar Hawthorne, kept his eyes on the cracked road, muttering about runner sightings. 6 wagons, 12 guards, and a promise of 20 bullets each for the trip. Easy money, Rain had figured. He should have known better. Night fell fast in the Deadlands, the sun swallowed by a sky thick with dust and spore clouds. The caravan halted near a skeletal town, crumbling storefronts with Art Deco signs dangling like hanged men, medieval stone wells choked by fungal vines. Edgar lit steam lanterns, their hiss cutting through the stillness as the guards set a perimeter. Rain climbed down, stretching his legs, his mask filtering the damp rot wafting from a nearby ravine, and night spores in the air. Stay sharp, he told Cain, slinging his rifle. Runners love the dark. Cain smirked, pumping his shotgun. Let 'em come. I owe something a bad day. Rain didn't reply, his gaze sweeping the ruins. The something felt off, too quiet, too still. His flashlight beam caught a glint in the distance. Metal, maybe bone. Then the first howl split the night, a runner's bark echoing from the ravine. Guards tensed, crossbows and rifles snapping up. Edgar cursed, fumbling with a flare gun. Hold steady, he yelled, but the words drowned as screeches erupted, dozens closing fast. The herd hit like a storm, shufflers stumbled from the shadows, their fungal-crusted bodies lurching forward, jaws gaping. Runners darted between them, lean and vicious, herding the horde with canine snarls. Rain fired first down sights with his scoped semi-auto rifle, 30-06 cracking as a runner's head exploded in a spray of black gore. Kane pumped his shotgun and blasted, slugs shredding two shufflers into wet chunks, their limbs twitching in the dirt. The guards opened up, bolts and bullets tearing through the swarm, but the numbers kept swelling. "Flare now!" Rain shouted, slashing his kukri through a shuffler's neck, fungal blood splattering his coat. Edgar fired the flare, a red streak arcing skyward, but it only lit the chaos, wagons tipping, guards screaming as runners dragged them into the dark. One wagon flipped, its steam engine rupturing with a scalding hiss, boiling a shuffler alive as it shrieked. Kane roared, burying his axe in a runner's skull, the blade wrenching free with a sickening crunch. "Too many," he yelled, pumping another shell. Rain pivoted, pistol barking as he dropped a runner mid-leap, its claws raking his pauldron. The metal held, but the impact staggered him. He glanced at the ravine, movement bigger than the rest. A shadow with a gas mask, yellow eye glinting. The specialized bastard. It didn't charge, just watched, like a general sizing up a battlefield. A scream cut through the din. Not a guard's. High, panicked, female. Rain's head snapped toward a toppled wagon. Its canvas torn open, splattered red and black from the inside. A figure scrambled from the wreckage. Young, brunette, clad in a hooded trench coat over leather armor and shorts. She swung a bow, an arrow piercing a shuffler's eye, then drew a dagger, slashing another's throat with grace. Her half-mask dangled loose, brown eyes wide with terror as a runner lunged. Rain moved without thinking, tackling the beast mid-air. They hit the ground hard, his kopis plunging into its chest, fungal sludge soaking his gloves. He rolled free, hauling the girl up. "Move!" he barked, shoving her toward Kane. She stumbled but kept her feet, knocking another arrow as Kane blasted a path clear. The specialized zombie screeched, a low guttural command, and the runners broke off, herding the shufflers back into the ravine. The silence that followed was worse than the noise, broken only by the groans of dying guards and the hiss of dying steam. Edgar was gone, throat torn out, slumped over the lead wagon. 4 guards survived, bleeding and shell-shocked. The girl stood panting, bow trembling in her hands. Rain wiped his blade, turning to her. "Who the hell are you?" "Evi," she said, voice shaky but sharp. "Evie Baudelaire, my family, performers. We were headed to Valmontaigne. King's orders. That thing." She trailed off, staring at the ravine. "Specialized," Rain finished, holstering his pistol. "Been hunting it. Looks like it's hunting back." Kane spat blood into the dirt, eyeing her. "Great. Another stray. We keeping her too?" Rain ignored him, sizing Evi up. Pale, lean, built for speed, her dancer's poise showed even now. She'd held her own barely. "You hurt?" She shook her head, adjusting her mask. "No, just... they're all dead. My parents, everyone." "Sorry's not going to fix that," Rain said, blunt but not cruel. "Stick with us till dawn. After that, you're on your own." Evi nodded, clutching her bow tighter. The surviving guards limped over, one, a wiry Frenchman, Pierre, muttering thanks. Rain waved him off. "Salvage what you can. We're moving before it circles back." Kane kicked a shuffler corpse, grumbling. "Night's young, and we're babysitting. Perfect." Rain smirked faintly, reloading his rifle. "Could be worse. Could be you in the dirt." He glanced at the ravine. That yellow eye burned into his mind. The hunt was personal now, and the Deadlands weren't done with them yet. Chapter 8: The Dancer's Debt. The wreckage of the caravan smoldered under a moon shrouded in spore haze, the air heavy with the copper tang of blood and the hiss of cooling steam. Rain crouched by the flipped lead wagon, rummaging through scattered crates for anything worth salvaging. His flashlight beam cut through the dark, glinting off dented ration tins and a cracked ammo box. 10 rifle rounds, 30-06, better than nothing. Around him, the surviving guards, Pierre and 3 others, picked through the debris, their faces pale and drawn. Kane stood watch, shotgun propped on his shoulder, kicking at a shuffler corpse with a scowl. Evi sat apart, perched on a slab of concrete, her bow across her lap, staring at the ravine where the specialized zombie had vanished. Rain straightened, tucking the ammo into his belt. His trench coat was stiff with drying gore, and his pauldrons bore fresh scratches from the runner's claws. He glanced at Evi, small, fragile-looking in her leather armor and shorts, but the way she'd fought said otherwise. Her brunette hair clung to her neck, damp with sweat, and her brown eyes were hollow, fixed on nothing. He'd seen that look before. The moment survival turned to realization. "Pierre," Rain called, voice low. The wiry guard shuffled over, a bandage wrapped around his arm, the smell of cauterization and saline hanging about him. "You lot heading back to Dunmere?" Pierre nodded, wiping blood from his brow. "We can't stay here. That thing, it'll come back." "Smart. Take what you can carry and go. We'll cover you till you're clear." Rain jerked his head at Kane. "Pup, help 'em load up." Kane glared but didn't argue, slinging his shotgun and hefting a crate of grain onto a salvaged cart. The guards worked fast, piling supplies as the night pressed in, every rustle in the ruins making them flinch. Rain approached Evi, stopping a few feet away. "You're not moving like someone with a plan. What's yours?" She didn't look up, her fingers tracing the bowstring. "No plan. They're gone. My parents, my troop. All I had." Her voice cracked, but she swallowed it down. "King Alaric wanted us in Valmontaigne for some show. Now it's just me." Rain shifted, his mask dangling from his neck, the cold air biting his beard. "Deadlands don't care about your story. You've got two choices. Tag along with them," he nodded at the guards, "or figure out how to not die out here alone." Evi's head snapped up, eyes flashing. "I'm not helpless. I killed 2 of those things back there." "Didn't say you were," Rain replied, calm but firm. "Said you're alone. Big difference." She stood, brushing dirt off her trench coat, her movements sharp despite the tremble in her hands. "You saved me." "Why?" "Dumb luck and a bad habit of not letting people get eaten in front of me," he said, shrugging. "Don't read into it." She stepped closer, her dancer's grace cutting through her exhaustion. "I don't have anywhere to go. Let me stay with you. Just for now. I can fight, track, whatever you need. I'll earn my keep." Rain's jaw tightened. Another stray. Kane was trouble enough, and this one had baggage written all over her. But those brown eyes held a spark, volatile, rash, but stubborn as hell. He saw potential there, raw and untested. "Fine. 2 good deeds for the year it is." He thought. "Fine," he said at last. "Same rules as him. Pull your weight or you're out. Don't expect me to coddle you." "I won't," she said, a faint edge of defiance in her tone. She adjusted her half-mask, pulling it snug over her face, and slung her bow over her shoulder. Kane trudged back, wiping sweat from his brow. "Guards are set. What's she doing here?" "Joining us," Rain said, turning to check his rifle. "Deal with it." Kane's scowl deepened. "First me, now her. What's next, a whole damn orphanage? Keep whining and I'll trade you for a quieter model." Rain shot back, a smirk tugging at his lips. Kane huffed, but the fight drained out of him, replaced by a grudging slump. Pierre waved from the cart. "We're off, Wolf. Merci. For the cover." Rain nodded, watching as the guards rolled out, their lanterns fading into the dark. He turned to his new crew, Kane, restless and bristling, and Evi, silent but coiled like a spring. "We're not staying either. That thing's too close and it's got our scent. Bunkers a day south. Move fast. Stay quiet." Evi fell in beside him as they started walking, her boots light on the cracked earth. "What's it like? Living out here?" "Hard," Rain said, eyes scanning the ruins. "Lonely. You get used to it, or you don't." She nodded, absorbing that, then glanced at Kane. "He doesn't seem lonely." "Pup's too loud to be lonely," Rain said, loud enough for Kane to hear. "Thinks yelling keeps the Deadlands at bay." Kane snorted, axe swinging at his side. "Better than brooding over coffee like some old man." Evi's lips twitched, the ghost of a smile, fragile but real. Rain caught it, filing it away. She'd lost everything, but she wasn't broken. Not yet. The ravine loomed behind them, its shadows thick with unseen eyes. The specialized zombie was out there, plotting, and Rain knew this was just the start. For now, he had two shadows trailing him and a hunt that wouldn't wait. That's it for now, pups. Like sub bell, you know how it works. See you all for the next chapters. Bye bye.